Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WCS Season 2 Grand Finals. Fantastic crowd here. Thank you so much for all your support, supporting the players this afternoon. It's been terrific. We are now down, almost sadly, to our last quarter-final of the day. I can't believe it's gone this fast. And as you can see on the bracket right now, first we'll play Jae-dong in our semi-final tomorrow, and Tasia, the sun god, takes down Rain in match number 1, which means we have just one more quarter-final remaining. Chobra, it's been an amazing day already, but this was the game that I was the most looking forward to, so I'm still super excited.
Clearly last, but definitely not least for this quarterfinal, because we're looking at two players who have come a long way in Heart of the Swarm and StarCraft 2 in general, and now they're here. They've had both ups and downs this whole season of WCS Season 2, and can they take it? We have them on our screen right now.
Yeah, as you can see on your screen, ranked 23 right now, Scarlett. Ranked 11, however, is Bomber after having a decent Season 1 and a terrific Season 2. He was absolutely deadly in group play yesterday, and likewise, Scarlett's forced her way back through from the lower bracket in her group to face Bomber in this quarter-final. No pressure, but Scarlett is the last foreign hope alive, so all the weight on her shoulders here as we go into this final quarter-final. Let's introduce you to the players.
First up, we have the man of aggression coming out from WCS Korea, the man who's been soaring throughout this tournament. Can he continue his journey in WCS Season 2 Finals? It's going to be none other than Scarlett and Bomber.
Bomber takes on a lady who's made her way through to the quarter-final, a Canadian by birth, a brilliant season in WCS America Season 2. Please welcome the Queen of Blades, Scarlett! Commentary team for this one is a unique duo. You haven't seen them together this weekend, so it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to a Liverpool-scarfed Artosis and Mr. Kalaris. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, Red Eye and Chobra. Of course, I'm wearing this scarf in support of Kalaris, who is from Liverpool. Right? That's in England.
It is in England.
All right, there we go. So, Scarlett versus Bomber. Coming up next, Kalaris. What do you think?
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, I got to say. This is actually my most anticipated match of the entire round of 8. A lot of people were looking forward to Jae-dong Naniwa. Understandable. Looking forward to our life first. Very good play by first. But now, the last foreign hope remaining. Scarlett going up against Bomber. Good series.
I got to ask you, can she kill Bomber? Bomber is like insanely good. He's been playing fantastically. He did so well in WCS Korea. But Scarlett is looking like one of the best macro Zergs in the world this weekend.
It's an interesting thought, and I've got to answer it with the fact that, you know, Scarlett, she's run up against Terrence time and time again as of late. But Bomber hasn't really gone up against many Zergs as of late. In fact, I think it's been like 2 months or so since he last had a proper encounter with a Zerg.
Yeah, you are correct there. So he's definitely been practicing the other matchups more, and this may give Scarlett an edge. The fact that there's only 2 Zergs in this tournament, I don't think many people have prepared for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was joking before we started, wouldn't it be funny if we had a ZVZ finals, but we're getting closer and closer to that.
We kind of are, yeah. And Scarlett, I mean, she anticipated here going into this series. I think she said before that she's feeling pretty confident. She's feeling that she could maybe even take it 3-0. If so, moving on from there, what an amazing turn of events that would be. She's
playing macro games like you just never see from Zergs. Yeah. She's actually looked a lot like Solkey this weekend. Like that last set that she was playing, it blew my mind. just out-macroing, outplaying, defending everything.
Yeah.
Very standard, solid play. Nothing gimmicky about it. A lot of times you see, especially these foreigner Zergs, rise up and start killing some Koreans, and it has to do with roaches. With Scarlett, it has to do with speedlings and mutas.
Oh, yeah. And the funny thing is that even though she favors that Ling Bane Muta style, she can still switch it up. She can go roaches if she wants. If she sees an opponent going for mech, she's more than happy to crush face with those roaches.
I have to agree. So I have no idea how this is going to go. Let's take a look at the map vetoes. Neo Planet S for Scarlett, Derelict Watcher for Bomber. You know, I can't disagree with this too much.
No, nor can I. After seeing the way Scarlett was playing Derelict Watcher against her previous Terran opponents, Bomber wants nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing.
This has actually been a pattern throughout the tournament. Whatever Terran plays her next, vetoes the map that she played best on, or the map she played best on in the previous set. That has actually happened several times.
That's certainly true here. And now both players go to their booths. A lot of people rooting for this lady as Scarlett sits down and gets ready to face off against an extremely formidable, but as you said, during WCS Korea, we saw Bomber performing so well. Actually, I would say, arguably playing the games of his career.
Yeah. And in fact, you know what? It's very weird, Claris, because of course everyone keeps getting better and better. Everyone's practicing all the time, but I would say specifically at this tournament, a good chunk of these players are playing by far the best StarCraft of their lives.
Yeah.
Like, far and away, Tasia blowing my mind.
Crazy.
Jaedong as well. I mean, First is playing fantastically. I think these are the best games I've ever seen from Scarlett. It is a sight to behold. Perhaps the best StarCraft 2 tournament of all time.
It's the stars have aligned here for all of these players, and at their peak performances, just to clash against one another. And now we are in the final quarterfinal here to determine who moves on to the round of 8. Scarlett, I assume, singing here to herself, but they have just aligned, and that makes this tournament so fantastic right now.
It certainly does, and it will continue to be so. I'm actually very sad that this is the last match tonight, but you know what? It should be. We should let everyone rest and have even better games tomorrow if that's even possible. But let's take a look here. This is the map pool. Star Station, then Newkirk, then Belshire, and then a couple others that I didn't read in time.
A couple others, man. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, this is certainly going to be interesting. We start on Star Station, you say? Yes. So this is going to be... This is actually, I feel, a really good map for both players to feel out their opponents.
Yeah. You think it's going to be a macro game here?
I would say so, yeah. I think that Scarlett feels very content just getting up to her 3 bases and then just getting over to that 70 drone count and then playing out from there. Meanwhile, though, does Bomber say that is going to be Scarlett's rhetoric and just goes for something a little bit more aggressive?
Well, Bomber can and will play like that. This is a guy that will mix in anything. He'll go double proxy racks. He'll go for weird Marauder stim timings with Hellions. I've seen him even go mech before against Zerg. I mean, he has a huge range of play. So,
and noticeably here, as you can see, a lot of Bomber's recent opponents have not been Zerg. His 43 win % ratio here against Zerg, but we haven't seen his versus Zerg for a long time. So I'm going to say that 43% is probably not reflective of his skill in this matchup.
I have to agree with you. You know, you can see his other win percentages. I think his TVZ is very strong, and I think it's a style that's going to match up well against Scarlett because he has the macro. He's always been the guy that no matter what happens in the battle, you look back and you're like, how does he have that many Marines after that battle he just lost everything in? And at the same time, he is willing to mix in anything else.
Yep, certainly so here. And then we have Scarlett, a player that has gone up against a lot of Terrans as of late, doing pretty well against a lot of them, only falling to Alive recently, who I would say, again, peak performance right now of his career. So that's understandable that loss did happen. But then taking out a player like Maru, who I would consider to be not too used to these kind of weekend-style tournaments, but still very impressive result.
Well, all right. I need an exact prediction from you, Claris.
Oh, great. Okay. I will go to 3-2 Scarlett. I think it goes all the way, and Scarlett ekes out in the very last second.
Okay. I think it is going to go 5 games.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say who, though. I want to see what type of style that Bomber's going to use here, because if he's trying just pure macro games while his macro is tip-top shape, I don't know if that's enough to beat Scarlett this weekend.
It's tough. It's going to be tough, man. And now we load up into the final series of the night. It's going to be Scarlett versus Bomber, game number 1 on Star Station. And this, again, this could be even the best series of the night, depending on how it goes, because we've had some really good series, but...
That's a tall order. Yeah. Oh, man, we've had a pretty good set of series so far, but we will see.
All right, well, let's jump in to game number 1. So we have Startail facing off against Acer here, the round of 8. One player will advance on forwards to that round of 4. As we have spun down to the bottom right-hand corner, our Red Terran representing Startail and Korea. Give it up for Bomber. Up to the top left-hand corner are Blue Zerg, representing Team Acer and Canada. Give it up for Scarlett.
Scarlett seeming to be a big crowd favorite here today, Claris. Well, you know, with only one foreigner left, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, and, you know, no matter who wins here, it's going to be just an amazing top 4 tomorrow, but I really wouldn't mind seeing Scarlett go through and maybe possibly get her first big victory.
I thought you were going to go with, we're all winners here in StarCraft.
But fans are the winners.
We're all winners. Well, anyway, Scarlett now, I'm interested to see what she's going to do here, but more so I'm interested to see how Bomber reacts to what he's seen from Scarlett prior. There's a lot of ZVTs that he can study of Scarlett going into this series. He's known ever since, well, a few hours ago that he was going up against Scarlett. So now what does he bring to the table? Does he bring aggression? Looks like he's not at the very beginning.
No, certainly not. Going to be going for that command center first, and it makes sense. You know what? Scarlett's been playing such strong macro games. If you open up with anything else, you open up with like a Reaper or, you know, just racks into command center, your economy is not as strong as the Zergs to start out with, and Bomber may just not want to give that up. Scarlett hasn't really shown any cheesy play this weekend.
Yeah, there is certainly opportunity for it against a command center on the high ground, as a lot of people following the foreign scene may or may not know about. But Bomber here with that, playing a little more defensively, getting that barracks in a good position. And it's funny because even if you do go for that, it's mainly... if you were going for the aggression as Scarlett with like a hatchery on the low ground, for example, the barracks placement's very important, and you can actually wall off behind that with an engineering bay. So not likely to happen here.
Certainly not. Look at this. We actually see the overlords going in very specific directions and a drone scout. Scarlett is not screwing around. A lot of people have been trying to 2-rax her, knowing her macro game is strong. So that's a nice message down at the bottom.
Yeah, Tasha's pretty happy with the result there. And whoa, coming back to this game, third command center going down very quickly here for Bomber.
That's the quickest it can actually be. That's after just one barracks with no gases. So, you know, this is a situation in which if Scarlett had decided to do a really quick all-in-cheese, something like Slowling, Baneling, free win. But of course, why would Scarlett do that with how well she's been macroing up?
Yeah, exactly. And Bomber, you know, on the flip side, we said at the very beginning this was going to be the feel-out game. Just kind of know exactly what your opponent's up to, play a bit of a macro focus, and see what your opponent can bring to the table later on. In a similar vein, we saw Maru try and do that against Scarlett in game 1, and then in game 2 he was like, nah, maybe don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that's it's a smart way to play, but we'll see what Bomber, how he mixes it up. You know, Bomber definitely a player that takes a lot of risks when he feels like it. You know, this might actually be like the never-ending rally push, as we used to call it in Korea, where Bomber has 3 quick command centers, a lot of SCVs, rally.
I'm not quite sure how this happened.
No, I'm not sure. I guess I left Twitter logged in somewhere.
I guess you're very handsome.
I guess. But, you know, this could be one of those like non-stop rally pushes where Bomber is like, hey, watch how many Marines I can make, and he has like 15 Marines making non-stop all game.
Yep, that's certainly true. I was about to bring up exactly the same thing, actually. You know, seeing Bomber utilize that with such ferocity, it's unlike any other Terran. You just watch Bomber do it, and he's in a world-class position when he does so. And adding on the barracks at the front, just making sure he's sturdy, it's going to add on a lot of macro as well. So he's playing his own game right now. He doesn't really care too much what Scarlett's doing.
You know, I'm pretty excited here to see exactly when Scarlett throws down her evolution chambers, because one thing I've noticed from her is that every game so far against Terran in this tournament that I've seen, at least, she's gotten them very quickly. And there you go. She's been beating out the engineering bay timing basically every game. Maru was even once, but other than that, she's always ahead in upgrades, which is really indicative of the fact that she's going to want to go for a macro style here, most likely.
Interesting that these barracks aren't actually producing just yet. Oh, and there we go, actually. Never mind. As Bomber does start beginning those, along with Stim as well. But he's sending his scout out across the map, and I'm wondering, he hasn't even scouted until this point, so he doesn't really care, as I guess
that tells us why we see a 3 barracks wall with a bunker behind it. He's playing safe, saying it's all right, I'll just throw down all this production, I'm going to need it anyways, and it's going to keep me a lot safer against any crazy Baneling play.
And the scout does get confirmation that there is a 3rd down. Who would have guessed it here? As Scarlett's playing her own game behind this as well. Marine's going to push out, but I don't think they're going to really get too much done. Scarlett will eventually spot those with Queens even at the front, and then shut that down pretty handily.
I think he's literally looking to force maybe a few lings, maybe snipe a creep tumor, maybe kill a couple lings, but that's about it. You don't want to lose these early Marines, even with such a macro-oriented opening.
Yep, and that creep spread, very characteristic of Scarlett here, once again, just flying across the map. And it gets to a point where the maybe 10, 11 minute mark where Bomber really starts need to actually shutting that creep down, because if it reaches his side of the map, then trouble is afoot.
We have the same exact Baneling timing right now for Scarlett that we've had basically the entire time. She times that out to end about the same time as the layer, start Baneling speed, get 2-2 going, and aspire. So this is exactly what Bomber has been studying leading up to this match. I guarantee you he's been going through the VODs trying to figure out how she plays, and this is probably his actual counter to it, which looks to me like a bunch of macro and, well, at least one siege tank, just for safety's sake. Yeah,
not too bad to get that in there. And in fact, on the high ground, in between the natural and 3rd base, is sometimes a pretty good spot to put that. Of course, you can put it back behind, in between those bases on the low ground as well, but it's just bringing it back, seemingly, to go where I initially said. So thank you, Bomber. Thank you so much.
That's a good place. You know, that's going to have a lot of versatility in where it can guard.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Claris, I mean, this is turning into like the no rush 15 game. You know, this is the game where it's the gentleman's handshake, and you just say, okay, let's get our economies and our production, our upgrades exactly where we want them, and then we're going to throw big armies against each other. As we can see, almost no scuffles so far.
It reminds me a lot of Scarlett versus Maru, game number 1 on Nuclear Precinct.
Yes, and well, we saw that she cleaned up in that game, but Bomber's been even greedier this game.
Oh yeah, and that's actually going to help him out a lot once those later engagements come, like we saw in that previous game. Bomber here looking to find a 4th base, but he actually went to the wrong location, and now we'll have to find that one down to the left.
In the meantime, we do have Scarlett. If you take a look at the mini-map, there's overlords everywhere. There's creep tumors all over the place, Zergling scouting. You know, Scarlett is just trying to be very careful about this, know what's coming before it comes, so that she can get enough units out in the right positions to stomp it.
And that was that 11-minute mark that I'm talking about. Right dead center is her creep right now. So the further that pushes across to Bomber's side of the map, that's really annoying for Bomber. On the flip side as well, for Scarlett here, she's just not going to take any damage from drops. How do you actually do damage with drops?
No, it's not going to happen this game. Maybe later on when too much is going on, but you know, everything we see from Scarlett here is indicative of a game in which the Terran did not open Hellions. Bomber's had no harassment potential, hasn't been able to slow the creep tumors. As you said, Claris, this creep spread is fantastic. It is like Bomber has to play the biggest macro game ever to try to punch through all this creep and kill Scarlett before she's at an unstoppable level with her macro.
2-2s on the way. It's about to finish here for Scarlett. Normally she delays a hive a little bit, so Bomber will have time to catch up there with his own 2-2. But at the same time now, with the Mutalisks out, Scarlett's going to look to do some poking here and there. Bomber's defense is going to have to hold up strong as well.
Well, right now, it's a very good point that you bring up there, Claris, about the fact that she's always stalling out that hive a little bit, and that is where we're going to see Bomber catch up in those upgrades. So that's a very important part. But the part that I'm the most worried about is the spider mine amount, because when Maru lost on Newkirk, he just didn't have enough spider mines with his army. But here we go, Scarlett's starting to move in. I don't know. Oh my God! And well, there are some spider mines. They're killing a lot of Zerglings right there. Banelings hitting the siege tanks, and Scarlett continues to push forward.
Scarlett did a great job of killing off those Widow Mines at the very beginning, moving forwards with the Banelings as well, killing off the bio. Scarlett knows how to execute this, and she does fantastically. Bomber down to 100 supply here, 77 army supply to 41. She just rolled through that.
This first attack, it reminds me so much of that Maru game. The Widow Mines were not big enough in number, and Scarlett rolls through, sitting on top of the barracks, but it looks like maybe too many units popping out. She may have to pull back with those Zerglings.
But the damage she's done is catastrophic here to Bomber. He's not mining from his third base. 13 workers were killed off. Resources lost, more so than Bomber has lost more so, and Scarlett behind this is mining more. Normally the Zergs lost more here.
Seriously, this is madness, and look how far that creep spread is up. Bomber's not going to be able to get a fourth because there's going to be creep there pretty soon.
Exactly. Oh, the levels of annoyance here for Bomber are mind-blowing. Even more Banelings coming in now. He needs to spread his Marines.
And the Widow Mines do burrow, but they get taken out by those Banelings. Oh, almost an amazing hit there, but just off the mark.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of production still going on for Scarlett, but let's not forget, this is Bomber we're talking about. This is exactly the number we said, even 15 Marines at a time coming out. So his macro is going to stay on point. If Scarlett messes up 1 or 2 engagements, then Bomber can suddenly come back and roll her over.
Yeah, Yum, he loves his Marines, and I love seeing them too as well when they're in the hands of Bomber. He controls them fantastically. Despite that, Scarlett's macro has been phenomenal. She's morphing a lot of Banelings right in front of Bomber here. Can he deny this? He needs to spread out well. There's Widow Mines behind this as well. Will they get the connections they need? Oh, yes, he does! He kills off so many Banelings very quickly. A lot of Marines still intact.
This is some fantastic play. So far, the Banelings coming in, the Marines trying to run away. Scarlett is keeping Bomber below 120 supply, and now even below 100. More Banelings coming down. The Widow Mine line is here, but can Scarlett break through?
They have no charges left. The Widow Mines can't connect with anything. Only the Banelings connect with Widow Mines there, as the Mutalisk still reigning supreme in this location. Bomber trying to rally his forces as quickly as he possibly can do, but killing off the Widow Mines as well. A big hit there for Bomber.
Scarlett's non-stop attack is keeping this third base from mining, and therefore Bomber's macro is even falling off. Look at the supplies, Claris. Right now, Scarlett has doubled Bomber.
And double the army supply pretty much as well. 84 army supply against 51. Oh, those Banelings.
Oh, that's quite a few Banelings right there. Some may even say so many.
So many indeed here. Scarlett now, she's looking for a killing blow. She's looking to finish this game. She knows Bomber's on the back foot. His +3 weapons will finish up soon. Killing him before that is fantastic if she can.
Well, here we go. The Banelings starting to roll in, and the Widow Mines go back down, but not the connections that he needs. GG! Wow! Whoa!
Scarlett just bulldozed the Bomber.
Scarlett, basically showing God mode macro. Like, this is... I mean, I don't think these Terrans are going to out-macro her.
I think you're
that
right.
was as greedy as you can get from the man who makes Marines better than just about anybody.
And Apollo said exactly the same thing in Game 1 for Maru. So now do we go into Game 2 and see Bomber follow exactly the same trend? Some crazy, crazy aggression here against Scarlett, who probably anticipates something like that happening.
She's going to be looking for it. There's not a doubt in my mind. It's going to be Newkirk Precinct. There's a lot of proxy locations. Will he try something like that? Or will he actually go for maybe a different type of cheese? Maybe not a proxy, but maybe like a quick 3 barracks with your factory after your command center, a Hellion Marauder stim timing, something of that nature?
I have to agree with you there. If he went for a proxy or something, Scarlett, it's too predictable for Scarlett.
No.
After that game, once again, you said it right. She went God mode, man. She has all the cheat codes.
Yes, power overwhelming right there. Amazing, amazing play. The macro coming out of her. Like, I've been watching Tasia being so impressed all weekend, but the way she keeps out macroing every single Terran
Yeah.
WCS Korea champion. Bomber, one of the players known for macroing in the matchup. I mean, if she wins this, could she take out Tasia?
There's the possibility.
There is the possibility. It exists.
No Terran Macro has stood toe-to-toe with Scarlett just yet here. Aside from Alive that did very well for himself, but there was a lot of aggression there as well. So
true.
That
has to be mixed in, I think, if Bomber wants to win here, because the fact that he can't do it. I do want to point out there was a little bit of a misstep. Right actually when I was saying that Maru didn't really have the Widow Mines set up. He didn't quite have enough when Scarlett came in. Bomber was starting to move out, and Scarlett just smashed into him when he wasn't quite in position. His Widow Mines weren't quite where he wanted, or maybe even the number that he wanted.
It's funny because I feel that for Bomber there, when he was moving out into the middle of the map, it's as if that was the time he was like, okay, this creep spread's kind of getting out of control. I kind of want to deny that. But by that time, Scarlett's macro had just flown out of control, and she actually comes out and says, well, actually, you're not only not going to get that done, I'm actually just going to crush you. And maybe Bomber here, if that kind of situation occurs again, needs to move out a little bit earlier to deny that, or goes for the Hellion Opener, like you pointed out earlier.
The Hellion Opener is going to help you to keep that creep a lot further back. I mean, Scarlett's still going to have good creep spread, but it won't get that far that quickly, at least.
That's a pretty impressive hat, my friend. I'm enjoying that.
Nice eyes, too.
All right. Well, game number 2, Newkirk Precinct, is the map. This is the map where Scarlett took phenomenal macro control of the game against Maru. And now into game number 2. With Scarlett 1 game up, she's 2 games away from advancing on to the round of 4. This is big. A foreigner doing this well in a tournament as stacked as this is big.
Well, you can see the hard work of Scarlett paying off.
Oh, yeah.
She's a player that spends more time in Korea than just about any other foreigner. There's only a very select few that really put those hours in over there. And you can see it reflected in her play. She's playing against basically purely Koreans and crushing them. It's like, I don't know if Solki had made it here, considered by most to be the best Zerg in the world right now, would his games have looked as good against these Terrans?
These Terrans have to mix it up. They have to do something different. They can't just go into a normal macro game, because, as I said, I can't describe it any better than a bulldozing, because that's just what it looks like. The wave of Zerg, it looks Zergy as well. It looks, just crushes up against this Terran wall, and the Terrans are having such a hard time against it. Even Widowmine placement is not that great against Scarlett. She's great at focusing them down.
She really is, actually. I watch her flying with her mutas and just is completely confident that she can kill them before they go off. It's amazing play, and people are actually getting drilling claws rather quickly against her. So it's pretty strong, man. I'm trying to come up with a strategy to beat Scarlett in my head right now for Bomber, and nothing like very specific comes to mind.
I would like to see a Hellion Opener. You mentioned it before, and I would like to see something like that. But at the same time, it's a strategy that Scarlett has had a lot of practice against as well. So she'll know how to play out of it.
It's true. I don't know. I'm like searching my memory banks for like older builds and whatnot. Maybe like a 2-factory Blue Flame Hellion type of opening. That was really popular for a bit. She's very Zergling heavy, but I don't know. I guess we'll be seeing in a minute as the game is starting.
Yes, it is. So let's jump into game number 2 here to see if Scarlett can take that 2-0 lead against one of the most formidable Terrans on the planet right now in the form of Startail Bomber. Map is Newkirk Precinct. Let's get right into this. This is going to be a good one, as we have spawned down to the bottom right-hand corner. Our red Terran, currently 1 game down, representing Startail and Korea. Give it up for Bomber! And down to the bottom left, 1 game up in this best of 5, representing Acer and Canada. Give it up for Scarlett!
She might be hearing those cheers. Normally a stone-faced killer giving a little bit of a smirk when the audience starts cheering.
Happy with the results so far? Can she make it further here? The round of 8 will be phenomenal. Maybe she can go the whole way if she shows a stronger performance, as we've seen in a lot of these games so far.
Maybe. I mean, this is becoming a possibility, and it's getting scary that players that we have left are in tip-top shape. I don't know. Bomber, by the way, looks like he's going for command center first.
Yep. And the drone she was anticipating something very aggressive. So going and scouting this whole location, making sure that a 2-racks is not evident at all. Very important. But now she's going to head across. And this scout's going to be very early to see a command center first.
And it's going to be a little bit annoying too. I'm sure she's going to micro that drone against the SCV. And we've seen from her before that she's very likely to go double hatch before pool when spotting a build like this.
So there is certainly that capability here for her, and by that proxy, Bomber does not. I was going to say maybe he'd go for a quick third command center. I guess he could after the barracks as well, though, if that was the case. But Scarlett decides to go for the spawning pool before the hatchery.
Yeah, she got in and didn't see an orbital making, and actually when she went by, she didn't peek to see if there was a command center. So she actually missed that a little bit, whereas in her other game, she was going quick 3-hatch. So I think that this was just the tiniest scouting error that resulted in the pool coming first. But I guess we'll see if she makes that third hatch anyways.
Yeah, certainly a possibility here as the gas does start for Bomber as well. He has options, could go for Reaper early on, could even just take straight up to that factory and make something happen there, which I would like to see.
Well, we'll be seeing that in just a moment from Bomber. Scarlett, though, do you want to see her play exactly the same way she's been playing? Because it seems kind of flawless.
I would like to see Scarlett play the same game as game number 1, but with a little bit of an earlier Baneling nest.
Okay, yeah, that would help out, just in case Bomber goes for one of these slightly faster timers, whether that's Marines and Hellions, Marauders and Hellions, something like that.
Yeah, just because I think that Bomber's position here is like, right, game 1 didn't go really well. Okay, I have to kind of reevaluate these things, and then says maybe I want to go for something a little bit more aggressive this time. So that earlier Baneling nest here might just slightly compensate, and it's not too far out of the way for a build, I don't think.
Yeah, that's you know what? I think that's a smart thing you're saying there, Claris, because Bomber can't go into that macro play once again. Now Scarlett is going up to 4 queens. I do expect that she's going to take a third base reasonably fast this game.
Yeah.
No gases quite yet. I am wondering if maybe she'll mix up, because what if, because she hasn't really done it, what if she mixed in like a Roach Bane all-in just suddenly out of the blue? That might catch Bomber off guard, and if you go up 2-0 to start, a lot of times the series is already over. A lot of times the player defeats themselves for you.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting if that happened, because not only would it blow my mind, it would probably blow Bomber's mind as well, not really anticipating that, as his third command center is coming down reasonably early here, so he just wants to continue on with that macro focus. But I love the 4-queen defense style, as well as the creep spread out from Scarlett. I think it really offers you a lot of versatility in the early game.
Oh, I have to agree with you. I love between 4 and 6 queens. You're going to be able to get that creep spread out. It's going to be great defense against all sorts of things. And they're useful as the game progresses and you need more queens for more hatcheries.
And that third base is going to go down. It's going to be spotted relatively quickly here by Bomber, but I think he was kind of anticipating that anyway, as he is going for a Hellion opener. So what we were anticipating going into game number 2 is coming to fruition here. I think this is very, very smart by Bomber.
Yeah, everything is starting to look pretty decent for him here. He should have a much better time. Does show those Hellions now, so Scarlett knows what's going on. A much more standard game this time, which means she won't be able to power up quite as much. But with her queen count and the fact she's making some Zerglings with speed on the way, she should be fine. I don't expect any real damage to occur.
Yeah, well, the double engineering bay as well as evolution chamber going down at relatively similar times here. Bomber, hey, sneaky, trying to get past, but the Zerglings catch one of them. Very nice.
And that was a lot of drones lined up.
That certainly was a lot of drones. Has to be careful about that. 2 do go down here in the main, but the Zergling's still in hot pursuit. A few drones did get pulled off as well here. 4 have already gone down, but if it loses any more than that, I don't think so.
It looks like that's about it with a couple more queens coming in. So not the most effective harassment, but you know what? Bomber's killed off 4 drones, and that's pretty decent. A lot of scouting going on as well.
Yep, and trying to get a few more volleys off on these drones, but they go for the surround. Drones are having none of that, and gets another drone.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
5.
Okay, not too bad, but he did lose all of his Hellions, and he hasn't remade them. You know, that's definitely a big difference from what we saw from Maru. Maru chose to keep making Hellions. Actually had quite a few, even after he lost some initial ones. So the map control is completely gone for Bomber right now. Controlling the creep spread is completely gone for right now, but in lieu of that, he's going to get his macro going a bit quicker.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he didn't get a single creep tumor during all that. Maybe he delayed a queen from laying one down.
Yeah, probably.
It's by the by here, as Scarlett is just continuing to power on with that creep, and as we said before, it's pretty scary.
Well, you know what? There's that earlier Baneling nest like you were asking for, and I think that this is probably an adjustment that she made with the same type of logic you were talking about, especially after seeing those Hellions. Just a little bit safer.
Yeah. And we have 1-1 on the way for both players, with the Zerglings just poking around here and seeing what's up. So she sees 1 or 2 Widow Mines there, not too bad. And aside from that, not much else. So this game's going to continue going on. I still want to see something from Bomber that's going to change things up here in the mid-game.
You know, the one thing that I think is going to change things up a little bit for him is he's getting the Widow Mines a lot quicker, because I feel like this is something that she's abused against him in the last game and against Maru in their game on the same map. Just not enough Widow Mines when she starts moving in. You know, Ling, Bane, Muta, very strong composition, but when you have a lot of Widow Mines, it becomes very difficult to attack. So I do like this change from Bomber in this series.
Yeah, very, very good indeed. And now Scarlett, she's going to have to accommodate for that in turn. This move out here with the aggression from Bomber, I really, really like this movement out. Forcing a lot of units, maybe not when she actually wants to be making them. That being said, she's at 70 workers already, but she doesn't have any army supply.
Now she's just making a lot of Lings and Banes right now. Shouldn't take too much more damage. A few creep tumors going down, a few Lings and an Overlord as well, but looks like it should be able to get cleaned up. The Widow Mines go off, not the best hits ever, and looks like she's safe for now.
Catches a few Banelings on the tail end of that last one, so Bomber not doing too badly. Look at his supply, 129 to 101, but now, as we said before, Scarlett is at her drone, the happiness place in drones. So
the happiness place.
The happiness place. But the thing is, it's units from here on out. With that Spire finishing, eventually some Mutalisks will come out. Has to be a little bit careful about when she goes for those, though, because of this pressure.
Yeah, this pressure, frontal pressure being so strong. The Banelings coming in, speed not quite done for them. Beautiful hit on that Widow Mine.
Yeah.
And Bomber's pushing her back. She's even having to evacuate her drones.
Bomber doing a very, very good job here. A perfect timing for him to strike when Scarlett is at her weakest. Not very many units out. She's trying to get some Mutalisks out. I don't know if those are going to be able to help. The third base has gone down.
You know, the Mutalisks, I think the best she can do with it is a counterattack, hoping there's no missile turrets to try to catch up in that way, because she's falling behind economically. She had to transfer all her drones over to a new third base. Her supply's low, and that third base is going to be attacked now.
Bomber doing really, really well here. These Banelings, they're going to roll in, but they don't get the most efficient of connections just yet here, as those Widow Mines. One of them burrows to save its charge. Will it be able to connect with any Banelings? No, not just yet.
Well, looks like, there you go, another little connection going down, and Bomber continuing to rally across the map, kind of like one of these rally pushes. He's making over 10 Marines at a time, getting his upgrades still, pushing out those medevacs, and it's working much better this game with the increased Widow Mine support.
So scary for Scarlett to deal with, and she's not dealing with it just yet. Oh, does get a Baneling connection, and these Mutalisks should be able to clean up a few of these Marines, but it's all important here. Those Widow Mines just got a few charges. Connect with some of those Mutas.
And the Muta's actually taken a little bit of a beating here, but she has cleaned up the Widow Mine, so that's very important.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, look at the supply, Caleris. Bomber is doing really fantastically with his macro.
Yeah, literally, he's just rocketing ahead here. There's just a few Banelings morphing in, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Bomber has shown that he's able to split back quite effectively. And now, well, he's gonna retreat. He feels as if he's done enough damage, but the next wave of aggression is on the way very soon.
Yeah, you know what? This is... Scarlett only has 3 bases. And when you're staying on layer tech, like this, I mean, it's going to be very hard to fight 3 base versus 3 base when your opponent is really focusing on Marine Widow Mine. And I feel like she's going to have to get a couple lucky connections, really, or some unlucky Widow Mine hits for Bomber to be able to push this back correctly.
And there's a lot of Widow Mines burrowed there. How well the connection's going to go down? She catches a lot of Banelings, but at the same time, a lot of the Marines die off in the process as well. Scarlett pushes that back. Nicely done.
The one thing we definitely can say for Scarlett here, Claris, is the fact that she's getting a lot of Mutalisks. She's going to be over 20 in a moment. As long as she keeps these alive and keeps building on them, they're going to be pretty useful. But, Bomber has 3-3 on the way, and when you hit 3-3, Mutiling Bane gets shredded.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it going. And Scarlett, she knows that as well, but she doesn't know how well. I mean, she knows 2-2's there. She doesn't have full intel at the fact that 3-3 is being researched right now. As Bomber just rallying across the map with even more units and just trying to set himself up good positions. Actually, he's not rallying. He's saving everything at the back.
It seems like he's just kind of set up right now. This is kind of interesting. Maybe this is a force to try to draw Scarlett in, because Scarlett knows that she needs a fourth base very soon, and she may be thinking about taking this one. So I think Bomber is just kind of waiting for his max to reinforce and go for the kill.
And I'm liking Bomber's position in the fact that, you know, not only is he putting a lot of aggression, doing a lot of damage, but also that keeps the creep spread back by proxy. So every single little thing here for Bomber it's going his way. All he has to do is stall out and just continue to take these trades. Oh, great Widowmine connections.
Absolutely fantastic, but here comes the rest of Bomber's army. So many Marines coming up, a good amount of Widowmines still left alive, and a lot of them actually have quite a bit of charge. So Scarlett, really all she's working with here is a scrappy amount of Lings and Banes and a decent amount of Mutas, but their upgrades are not fantastic.
Exactly, the Mutas can never properly engage without the complementing ground army there as well. Scarlett does not have that right now. She has 30 Lings, a few Banelings going to try and go for this here at the bottom, try and break out of this location, kills off a lot of Marines at the bottom, but will it be enough with the Marines at the north?
Well, I don't know that it will be. Look at Bomber's supply. Look at the fact he's attacking this third base. He is going to end up killing this hatchery unless Scarlett goes right now, and here she goes. But no, it was down. A great, huge kill for Bomber.
Army supply 108 to 69 right now. Scarlett in a lot of trouble. These Banelings need to connect really, really nicely. Some of them do get good connections, but still Widowmines clean up quite a lot of that. The Mutalisks are all that's left, and the reinforcing army of Bomber marches forwards and says, no Mutalisks, not today.
I don't know what Scarlett's supposed to do here anymore. She really needs some lucky Baneling hits. She's kept those Mutas alive fantastically, up to 23 at the moment. But 3-3 is finishing in just a couple seconds here. And at this point, Bomber can almost attack move.
Yeah, he's getting in a very, very terrifying position for Scarlett to deal with. Even army counts now still 105 to 72. So Bomber's army is always going to be considerably stronger, and he's even got that fourth base up and running, while Scarlett's economy is in tatters right now in comparison.
You know, it's a tough spot to be in, but maybe she can make something happen. You know, when you have this many Mutas, if you kill their army once, sometimes you can get on top of their production and gain a big lead before they can clean you out.
Yeah. Well, the Marine's going to move into the middle once again here. Bomber just striking fear into the heart of Scarlett as he continues to march around her side of the map. And unfortunately for Scarlett, because of that, she can't go for any counter-aggression. It's damn near impossible unless she wants to go for a full-blown base trade.
Yeah, but how well would that really work against Marines, Medivacs, and Widowmines? It'd be very difficult for her to end up winning. So she's trying to hold this off. She's trying to get that lucky break and win this game. But Bomber continued to push forward. Some nice running back. The Widowmines being spread as well. Scarlett doesn't have much longer that she can stay up here for.
Yeah, Bomber spread so fantastically here. The Marines just move on forward. Baneling's trying to catch a lot of this off, but I don't even think the Banelings can actually fully contest with that. So many Marines left over as they chase back the Mutalisks once again. Bomber playing a fantastic game number 2, altering up from game number 1 so greatly.
And you know what? We've been so focused on this never-ending march of Bomber's Marines. He got a fourth base up. This, I mean, he's never going to run out of units at this point.
Nope, the Marines are just going to keep coming, and Scarlett's like, when does this end? And the answer's never. GG! Bomber ties up the series. What a fantastic performance by him.
Look, he did some really great changes here. Okay, he did open with the Hellions. That was helpful for sure, I would say. It definitely delayed that third base a little bit. He also went for much quicker Widowmines and a much quicker second factory, and against someone that is staying on Ling Bane Muta, that's going to be a really good idea.
Yeah,
I really do like that he did that. So Scarlett here, I think now she has to look at Bomber and say, okay, you have a lot of dimensions to your Terran Berserk play. This might be the game where Scarlett goes for something else, like a Roach Baneling or some sort of all-in. that says, hey, you're going that early Widow Mines. Well, they're not going to fare that well against Bane Roach, are they?
Yep, that is certainly a potential here. Bomber would have to notice that that's going on and add on some siege tanks early on. We've seen some Terrans in the European scene, such as Lucifron, try and mix in one tank early on to try and stop a torrent of aggression. And we saw Bomber actually go for one siege tank during game number 1 as well. So he would have the production in place if he was just playing out his normal build, but it's reading it that's the difficult thing.
That is the difficult thing. You know, sometimes it becomes even coin flippy, and I don't have the proper read. Which do I go for right here? So it's a tough choice, but at the same time, that can be said for Scarlett as well. Does she mix it up with that? Because if Bomber goes and makes the read or doesn't make the read and makes siege tanks, if she goes Roach against siege tank, that's going to be very difficult. Whereas if he goes again for the very quick Widow Mines and she doesn't go for the Roaches, that could be very difficult as well.
Alternatively, could just go for the big focus on macro again and then account for the fact that maybe her opponent is going to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit earlier, like we saw in that game.
Well, Belshir Vestige, what do you think? Is one of these players going to be aggressive here?
I don't think Scarlett will. I don't think she will. I don't think it's in her to try and just go for the aggression. There's the possibility, but I think it's a low possibility.
Okay. You know, I feel like if I had to plan this series for Scarlett, I would have had a plan going in, and I would have changed it after that game.
Yeah?
I would change it, and I would mix in right here on this map.
The aggression.
The aggression. Right. Some sort. I'm not exactly sure which, but something to try to kill Bomber early on. Take that 2-1 advantage so you have 2 match point games to try to clean it up in.
I like what you're saying. I think you have to mix it up in a best of 5. Especially if it's going to go to map 5, which we're anticipating it doing, as a people playing these games normally, then you've got to mix it up. If you don't, if you just go with the same strat every game, you are going to die.
Oh, that's what we see here. They open up with certain strategies. Scarlett cleans up. Next game, Bomber counters that strategy, and he cleans up. 2 very one-sided games.
All right, well, getting into game number 3 now, as we have these guys 1 apiece. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner are Red Terran, representing StarTale in Korea. Give it up for Bomber. And then up to the top left are Blue Zerg, representing Team Acer in Canada. Give it up for Scarlett.
Wow. Some crazy, crazy games here today. I am truly hoping that this does go all the way up to game 5.
Yep, likewise, man. It would be great. We've had such good games. It's not even just today. Like yesterday, there was some insane games as well.
This whole tournament. Normally, you get a tournament that has a good amount of good games. Because I mean, StarCraft 2, best game ever, right? So
best game ever.
But this concentration of high-end games where they are so close, like everyone in this tournament seems so evenly matched.
Yeah. Maybe it's the WCS system at work here with how it's been laid out. We've got a good wealth of talent here representing every region. And Scarlett's flying that America flag high, or the Canada flag even.
In the round of 8, the North American WCS had the most seeds. They got 4 players in, which is half. That's really quite fantastic.
Yeah, they did amazingly for themselves.
Yeah.
And now coming into this game, as it looks like we're going to have, well, what do you think Bomber is going to do? We've talked about what Scarlett does here. Does Bomber just go back to game number 2 and said, yeah, that worked out pretty well?
Well, you know, I think that is a decent strategy used against Scarlett, but maybe not this game, though, because that smells of aggression.
That certainly does. I was not expecting that early gas going down.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonably fast gas. Now, I mean, of course, it could be for something like just fast speed. I have seen in the past some Zerg players go a really ridiculously fast Mutalisk on this map. Sometimes that can help you out a bit, but I don't think it's that. I think that this is actually going to be like maybe a very quick roach attack, one of those ones designed to target SCVs down.
Yes. Well, it certainly could be, and I would like to see that as well. Again, it's just mixing things up, diversifying it, keeping your opponent on their toes, and saying, I could do this in every game. I could do this next game. I could do it the game after. And you have to prepare for that.
Well, once she starts showing more depth than just the macro game, then that puts the ball back in Bomber's court.
Yeah,
he has to be a lot more careful choosing his build orders at that point. And Bomber, ooh, look at this. Bomber's actually adding 2 more Raxes right now before his gases. So we might actually be seeing a pretty quick and heavy bio attack.
I don't mind that too much either. I think that both these players, they're playing so great. It's fantastic to see. And Scarlett even going for that expansion as well.
Yeah.
So she's going to have access to a lot of lava if she would like it. And it is going to be for the quick speed. She's only left 1 drone on gas for now, though.
Yeah, it looks like this is a macro-oriented build of Scarlett, but a different one from what we've been seeing from her. One with very quick speed upgrade. And you know what? This happens to be a very good choice against what Bomber has done here, because he's added those extra barracks before a command center or before any tech. It tells us he's going to have more units. And if you don't have the speed upgrade done when they move out with a big clump of units, you oftentimes just die. You have to have that speed upgrade. It is the most important thing in the early game.
Yep, you don't want those Marines kiting back those Zerglings or just having full advantage in terms of that mobility factor. As we have a few more drones on the way for Scarlett, just rocketing up to her normal standard, unless she stops at any particular reason. And that third base will finish up in a second as well. So from here, if we were to say, for example, Bomber were to go for that 3 barracks, like poke out aggression, what does he generally follow that up with?
Well, with Bomber, I would say more command centers and more Marines. I think it's a stylistic thing for him. Now, he's actually getting combat shields and just producing 3 Marines at a time. He's also got just 1 gas, so this really points towards just a giant group of Marines walking across the map.
Yeah.
And you can get up to a certain amount of Marines where, if they're in a tight ball, you don't have a lot of surface area to engage with Zerglings. So, you know, if Scarlett doesn't have a Baneling Nest, it becomes very hard to kill a big amount of Marines.
And did she see these Marines moving out with this Overlord? It was on the cusp of actually being spotted. It's going to be very, very close here.
I would say maybe she did, actually. I think she saw the tail ones because she started a few drones, and then some more Marines walked by, and then she started some Zerglings. So we'll see if she can get enough, but there's a very good chance here. In fact, there's almost a 100% chance that Bomber is going to kill this third base.
She started drones again, so she didn't really have too much intel as to what was going on here, and killing off a queen very quickly. Drones go down, and this hatchery, it's not destined for this world for too long.
You know, this is why Bomber is one of the best Terrans in the world. He mixes everything up. He metagames all the time and uses strategies. This is a very old strategy, like early 2011 old, but he has mixed it in here, and it has done fantastically. That is skilled 4 drones, a queen, and a hatchery, forced a ton of Zerglings, and now he has his 3rd command center finishing up.
What a great play by Bomber. Again, just switching things up here, and Scarlett has not been able to react to it accordingly. Arguably, she did not have the intel available that was required, but now the Zerglings, they're going to try and pincer this army in. She could get a lot of these Marines, but maybe not that many. Well, yeah, she'll get them all.
The thing is, even if she kills all of these, Bomber, I think, doesn't care that much. He's forced so many Zerglings. He actually killed quite a few right there as well, but there could be a counterattack incoming because he doesn't really have any splash tech, and that's why he's actually getting a siege tank instead of Widow Mines. He realizes that he's going to need as many splash shots as possible in case Scarlett decides to go for like a Ling Baneling bust from here.
Yeah, adding on the double barracks as well, just to completely wall that off. Super important right now as we have that Spire, as well as Baneling Nest that just finished. Even adding on a macro hatch behind the replacement of the 3rd here. So Scarlett trying to get back up to a good position. But being at 48 workers against 50 with the 3rd command center now lifting off and moving into a position of what I would call aggression here for Bomber. It's going to be difficult for Scarlett.
Well, we'll see what she can get done. She is still going for that spy route, so still wants to play that heavy macro game. And you know what? She did so well in it before, and the fact that we actually do have Bomber going for siege tanks, that's the best that she can really hope for, is the fact that he's going for siege tanks. It's going to slow down any Widow Mines, which is going to help her composition to actually work out somewhat.
Well, that third base does land, and now with that 2-2, arguably she does have a little bit of a lead on the 2-2 and the upgrades, so that's nice for Scarlett here, committing to those early, so not really changing up her build too much to try and compensate for what she's lost thus far. And these banelings morphing it. How much can she get done with this? It looks quite aggressive.
You know, I think she's trying to get maybe a little bit lucky here, like either surround the Marines and run into them, or maybe like slip in and kill some SCVs. But I don't think this is really going to do that much.
Yeah, well, we'll see as those banelings do move through.
Well, it looks like some workers are going to end up dying. And actually.
Oh, the splits. Oh, actually fantastic play by Bomber there. Those banelings got so close, but Bomber splitting at just the right time.
Only 5 workers have been killed here, so that was really nice. Did kill a few Marines as well, so it didn't go completely terribly for Scarlett, but wasn't what she was looking for.
Yeah, certainly not. Scarlett still playing a little bit from behind in terms of the macro, but again, her upgrades are looking all right. She's bringing herself back into it quite nicely. 66 workers against 54 right now, but Bomber, I mean, he could soon start his kind of parade style if he would like to.
But look, Scarlett realizes what this means for Command Center to be on this side. Look, right now Bomber's actually going up to where he thinks the 4th should be, but no, Scarlett's taking the 4th on the other side of the map, so Bomber instead has to go towards the 3rd.
And using these 2 siege tanks here and moving them into position with the medevac, I guess kind of having them a little bit hidden there for a second.
Yeah.
And this could be really bad. Scarlett, you have to deny this from happening, but she's not going to be able to. Bomber gets the hatchery. Great movements there, but the Mutalisk coming in from the back trying to get those siege tanks.
Well, if she could kill the siege tanks off, she could crush this little army, but so far this army has been fantastic, killing off that hatchery, and probably will end up being reasonably cost efficient when she has to clean it up anyways.
It's a good move here by Bomber. Once again, still keeping Scarlett on the back foot. How can Scarlett react to this? It's just been pure aggression from here on out for Bomber, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to subside. Scarlett has to find a solution to this as quickly as possible.
Well, you know, she does have 2-2. She does have Baneling speed. She even does have +1 for Mutas, and right now it's just 1-1 for Bomber. So there is a possibility, since a piece of his army is over there, that she does a counterattack on the 3rd, or maybe the natural. Maybe she tries to army crush, where she just surrounds an army and kills it very cost efficiently. It looks like that's what she's going to be going for.
Yeah, those Banelings connect nicely there for Scarlett, and she does kill off that frontal assault, and that will allow her to open up that location, but at the same time, Bomber, he's just everywhere.
He certainly is, and if he kills this base, man, Scarlett is not going to be coming back. And she is rushing down, but Bomber, well, will he target? The Queen getting a transfuse off, but it looks like he does have enough. For just 8 Marines, he kills quite a bit.
Yeah, very well done by Bomber once again. Scarlett has to find a huge solution. Again, it's at this point in time, Scarlett is almost dead and buried. There is only hopes of miracle connections here with Banelings. Will she be able to get them as the Zerglings run forwards? Bomber realizes there's a little bit of danger. We don't mind connections.
Well, Scarlett might be able to clean this up and kill these medevacs off as well. That is a lot of Mutas and some Banelings coming in as well, and she's targeting down those medevacs. A good job there by Scarlett, but still Bomber has that big supply lead.
Such resilience by Scarlett, despite actually losing base after base after base. It's a 114 supply to 142. I was expecting these supply differences to be a whole lot larger, but Bomber still piling on the aggression, still playing absolutely perfectly here to just stretch Scarlett thin. She can't keep denying this aggression.
No, it's just non-stop from Bomber. His macro's getting out of control, producing over 10 Marines at a time. He's starting those +3 upgrades. Scarlett trying her best, throwing on more macro hatches, trying to get enough Zerglings out to do something, to do anything. But even picking off Queens, realizing that Scarlett's macro is being hurt time and time again.
Yeah, very, very good decisions here by Bomber. He's going to get chased back and will lose a medevac, but still the aggression continues. Bomber is not letting up. Bomber is never going to let up here. He's just going to keep going, keep powering forwards. He has a 4th command center behind this. He could go and land that over at the 4th if he wanted to.
Well, you know, that is the case, and I think he's going to end up doing that pretty reasonably soon. Now, attacking forward with so many units, this is very reminiscent of that Newkirk Precinct game that we just watched. What does Scarlett do here? How does she break this?
I don't know, man. These Widow Mines are set up nicely as well. Burrowing with the drilling claws. Will it connect with the Banelings? A lot of them do. But at the same time, the Marines find themselves cornered. So a lot of them may end up dying here. There's still not enough Zerglings and Banelings, though. They're not enough to break that ground army. And Bomber pushes back the Mutalisks, and he kills off another hatchery.
Oh, that hatchery, I think you're right, Claire's. It falls down once again. Scarlett can't keep a third up.
Bomber, you cheeky man, you throwing down the mana command center. GG, 2-1 to Bomber, and now Scarlett has it all to play for. She has to rise to the challenge.
She certainly does, and the way that she's playing right now, Bomber has found some pretty decent ways around. That game, I think, was a bit confusing for her. That combat shield rush and pushing out the Marines, very few players do that. One player that comes to mind, Western Wolf Sting, he loves moves like that.
He does.
But it's so uncommon that when is the last time she hit that? Scarlett is a Zerg player that has hit top 16 GM in Korea, and I guarantee you, you don't see it up there. So a very smart builder choice by Bomber. He's being really flexible this game, and Scarlett truly needs to mix it up.
Yep. The flexibility here for Bomber is great, but not so much for Scarlett right now. And that's what's going to define this series if she doesn't change her ways. As for now, Whirlwind is our fourth map to see if Scarlett can bring herself back. It's 2-1 to this man. He is one game away from moving on to the round of 4.
Oh my God, he wants it so bad too, Calaris. This is a guy that we predicted so many times. Everyone predicted so many times that he was going to win a GSL, he was going to win a giant tournament. He's done very well for himself, but he needs that big championship to show what he's been working for all these years.
We have these players. We have first a player who has won a championship recently, came second as well at the World Championship at the Intel Extreme Masters. We have Tasia, multiple champion.
Oh yeah.
Jaedong, constantly second place every single time. If anybody's as hungry for it as Bomber is, Jaedong is.
Yeah.
And now Bomber has one last map to win, to move on to the round of 4, to play there.
Tasia.
To play Tasia, man.
I tell you, let's imagine if it was a Bomber Jaedong finals.
Wow.
One player at least gets to be happy.
Yeah, guaranteed. Wow. Well, it's all about that trophy right there. One of the sexiest trophies I have seen in a long time.
It's a nice one. Very different from what we normally see.
Yep.
No big cups this time.
Nope. Don't want any of those cups.
No. All right, here we go. You can see Scarlett is starting to look frustrated. It started out so beautiful with the 1-0, but Bomber coming back 2-0. And here we go, Claris.
Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, our Red Terran, one game away from the round of 4, representing Startail and Korea. Give it up for Bomber! And up to the top right, needs your cheers more than ever before here in this tournament. Representing Acer and Canada, give it up for Scarlett!
I think she can hear you guys. You're being so loud for her, and definitely appreciates, I think, the fact that people are cheering for her so heavily. You know, she's put in so much hard work, so much dedication and sacrifice, but it may be ending this game.
I think you, more than anyone, would know how much of a commitment it is to move to Korea.
It's a big deal. You know, you don't speak the language, you go over there, it's a new culture altogether. Yeah. Everyone is so good. It can be very frustrating to practice with those people, but at the same time, it can be very rewarding. We see Scarlett and Nanoa. They're the two foreigners that are getting so far all the time now.
Exactly.
Because of that dedication.
Yeah, there's a big reason why these two top players in the form of Nanoa and Scarlett are always at the top, because they are practicing their hearts out, dedicating their entire lives to this pursuit. And now Scarlett has to take all of that pursuit and culminate it here in this series. Moving on to the round of 4 is so important for her, as is it for Bomber, as he goes command center first here against Hatchery first.
Of course. That's what I would expect on Whirlwind, right? Now, let's talk about it, because it is Whirlwind, and so many times you get, like, you know, both top, both left, both right, both bottom, but this is cross spawns. This is a bit different.
Oh, yeah.
There's a very good chance that this goes into a long macro game.
Ooh, exciting. I'm liking that a lot.
I am as well.
Bomber's rally style, the bigger the map, the further away, the less effective it's going to be as it continues on. Of course, it's still extremely potent, But here on this map, Scarlett has the opportunity with the second hatchery, as quickly as it is as well.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
To just keep going.
Well, look at how smart Scarlett's being. She sent one Overlord in each direction to scout for proxies there. She sent one drone out through the front to the watchtower, and then made the third hatch with it.
Yeah.
This is very well planned out. She was looking for proxies before she did it, saw no proxies, bam, huge macro build on the way. Now, Bomber, not going quite as heavily macro. Yes, he's got this quick command center, but we've seen him go, command, racks, command. Not this time. He's getting a factory, at least. Maybe a command center after that, though.
I like that on this map again. If he's going to go for the Hellions, I would really like to see maybe not even the dive in to kill off some drones, maybe just the heavier focus on trying to stop the creep spread. Because on a map like this, where you can just get the creep spread going immaculately over the middle of the map, I think it has even heightened importance in comparison to a map, say, like Belshir Vestas.
I have to agree with you there, Claire's. If she can get the creep spread towards the middle, and to the sides as well. I think that's a big part of it, because one of the hardest parts about the late game on this map for Zerg is when Terran starts dropping your very peripheral expansion. So if she can get all that creep spread done, that's going to be fantastic for her. She's going to be able to get into maybe a 5-base macro game, which is exactly what she's looking for.
Yeah, just swarming on in from every single side. Once the middle of this map is something that is a conundrum to a lot of Terran players, because if you move out to the middle of the map without proper intel about what's going on the flanks, you can get torn up very quickly.
Yeah.
And against a player like Scarlett, who loves emphasizing Ling Bane Muta style, you've got to know exactly what's going on with your opponent's positioning.
Well, we'll see how good Bomber is at that scouting on the flanks. Right now, he is getting his third command center after starting some Hellion production, so this is a pretty common build overall.
Yeah.
Scarlett's going to know exactly how to deal with the Hellions. For her sake, hopefully she doesn't lose too many drones, because if Bomber can deny some creep and kill a decent amount of drones without really throwing his Hellions away, without just sacrificing them for nothing, then he's going to be the one that starts out with a bit of a lead.
Yep, and he would certainly love that here, as it's only one map away from the round of 4. Very important for him. Doesn't want to drop a single map. There's no reason to here for him. As the Hellion did poke forward, didn't really see too much other than the fact that the third was down. And meanwhile, Scarlett hasn't seen the third command center just yet, but it's Whirlwind, it's a very important match. I think she can infer that it's probably going down.
I'm taking a look here, Claris, right now. We have the double evolution chamber a little bit before the E-bays. That really tells us from both sides. Oh my god, hold on. This is happening again. And it's before speed, so this is actually a little bit dangerous.
Panic, drones run away. Oh, this could do a lot of damage here. She gets a good volley, and wow, actually kills off 5 workers already. Still looking for the hunt here.
And a few more, and even more right now.
Bomber, you're getting so many workers. 11 have already gone down as of 13.
Oh, so painful for Scarlett here to lose this many drones to just 4 aliens. Ouch.
Yeah,
ouch.
45 workers to 43 in favor of Scarlett. Still, she's replenishing a lot, but that was a fantastic move there by Bomber.
Yeah, that was really effective. At first she was doing a good job blocking the hole with the queen and all, but she just didn't have what it takes. She was being a little bit too greedy. And by the way, Bomber went double starport.
Did he?
You don't normally see that, do you? Not this early.
Wait a minute. Did he really do this?
Did he cancel one? Let me see. He was building 2.
He has to have canceled.
Okay, he canceled one.
Okay.
I was wondering about that. I'm like, what in the world?
Tosis, you scared me there for a moment.
Well, he scared me. I'm like, what is this? You just want a lot of medevacs? Are you going to go for Banshees? What am I watching? But okay, never mind. We'll forget he ever did that.
Yeah, let's just ignore. And, off the back of that, hey, claims a 3rd base. Awesome stuff. So he is happy here.
And in the meantime, she's a little bit ahead on the upgrades and re-droning quite well, as you mentioned. She is up in that drone lead still, 67 to 56 right now.
Yep.
But, having to replace that many drones, that is 15 less larvae. That is 15 times the 50 minerals less minerals. That's that many less units as well. So it echoes throughout the rest of the game. But, if she gets to go up to a few extra drones and Bomber waits a while, the difference becomes something that doesn't matter as much. But the thing is, Bomber's getting ready to start moving out. He has those medevacs, his upgrades are finishing, and he's going to be out there pushing Scarlett back.
Exactly, and it's not just a push, this is Bomber's trigger. This is him saying, I'm going to get aggressive, and I'm not going to stop for the whole game. Scarlett, are you ready? Because I know I am.
Well, she's got Baneling speed on the way, but it's not going to be done for a little bit more, so she's not quite ready, and already some of this creep going down, and that's some really crucial tumors that Bomber's getting rid of here, because now the creep isn't going to connect in front of all that terrain. It's kind of a pain, and here he goes, trying to go after some queens, does get one.
Oh, the Baneling! Oh, explosion for the Widow Mine. What a fantastic connection there by Bomber. I think he was controlling that manually because that was precise, killing off those Banelings, and now Bomber continuing the aggression.
And going up for this drop, but plenty of Zerglings really coming in. I don't really foresee this doing that much damage. In fact, he does have to pick up, but yeah, that Widow Mine cut 11 kills. That was pretty nice.
Yep, not too bad a day's work here for this Widow Mine. Unfortunately, he may die off pretty quick, depending on whether Overseer is. But the Zerglings and Banelings looking to stop the denial of creep spread here once again. And no, there was a connection, but didn't do anything.
Yeah, the queen hit. That's basically what you wanted to, other than an Overlord.
Yeah.
We do have Bomber in the meantime going up here, and those Widow Mines burrowing. Oh, that's going to be very annoying to deal with.
Oh, very out of position there, and those Widow Mines only connect with 2 Zerglings. So great control there by Scarlett, realizing that she'd surpassed their positioning. And still the drop here going for Bomber.
Well, these drops are starting to do a little bit, but there's 13 mutas about to hatch, so the drops are going to end at least for a little bit.
Yeah, Scarlett certainly has the potential here to transition onto a very, very normal game for her, at least, as the Mutalisks try and chase down that medevac and just gonna kill off Marine after Marine. Bomber's drops are not doing what they need to.
No, you know, the drops seem to be done, but now that Scarlett has kind of stabilized, you know, the drops are going to stop for a bit. She does have 4 bases. Let's look at where this game is at. The one thing that really sticks out to me right now, Claris, is the fact that Bomber's 2-2 is almost done and Scarlett's just finished. This is completely opposite of every other game we've seen from Scarlett.
That's true, and how is she going to compensate for that?
Yeah, exactly. It's very hard to fight with Ling Bane with inferior upgrades against Marine Medevac Mine.
And Whirlwind's the map where she can maybe compensate for it with positioning. It all depends on how well Bomber is going to move around the map. And right now, the main brunt of his army has a good position here on this ramp in a choke point. Very hard for Scarlett to break into. Will she go for it?
Oh! Amazing Banelings blowing up there. That was brutal, man. Bomber doing a great job.
The Widow Mines killed Banelings. That's all we need to say.
Over those words, it was so crazy, but that was painful for Scarlett. That was a lot of Banelings lost there.
That really was. And now this Resources Lost tab looks a bit more normal in comparison to what we saw in game number 1 as Scarlett was taking the advantage there. But Bomber continuing the aggression once again. The Zerglings and Banelings, I don't think they're going to be enough to clean this up, especially if he just micros back and picks up those Marines. Oh, but they get cornered.
Really nice Baneling right there, and Bomber is continuing to push forward. Scarlett needs to keep this base alive. If she can stay on the 4 bases, the upgrade differential won't mean as much, and the Widow Mine's not really going off like Bomber wants anymore.
Yeah, those Zerglings and Banelings have been cleared up here for Scarlett, and she's trying to bring as many as she possibly can do down to this location. Again, the emphasis is not on the Mutalist production right now, it's all on the links. They need to be down here to tank for those Mutalists to get in position, for the Banelings to get in position. 1 or 2 connections again, but those Widow Mines are so great in place by Bomber.
It's a hard place to break through right now, but we'll see how Scarlett wants to go about it. The supply is still very even, a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes on the way for Scarlett, and she's about to hit 2-2, which is going to allow her to engage a little bit easier.
And just the Marines still rallying on here for Bomber, knowing that if he just continues to reinforce and continues to keep Scarlett in that defensive posture, it might actually just break the backbone here. Nice Baneling connections connect with a lot of those Marines on the high ground, trying to roll for some more great Baneling connections. Scarlett cleans up. She's going to push Bomber back. He's on the retreat.
She has pushed Bomber back. He's in the middle of the map now with his reinforcements. Is she going to try to continue to fight? No, that is far too big an army, and the push is going to start over.
It's still stabilizing here, though. Scarlett with 83 army supply against 101 for Bomber, as he will never let up with this aggression. He's camping in the middle of the map, thinking, where shall I strike next? What shall I do? And Scarlett has to anticipate these moves. How is she going to react?
Well, Scarlett's going to continue to macro up. She's getting an infestation pit, very important. But here she goes into the middle of the map. A lot of Widow Mines. She's got to be careful here. The Widow Mines go off, not the best connections, and Scarlett continues to chase Bomber down.
All those 3 Widow Mines get absolutely shredded up there by Scarlett. Bomber not being allowed to connect with any of them. Scarlett's, once again, her connections with Widow Mines to be able to shut them down. Her focus fire is so good.
It truly is, Claire's, but look at this also. Scarlett is taking an advantage at this point because look at these Overlords dropping the creep. Bomber would already be mining from a 4th, but instead she slowed him down. There's so much action on the map. It's very difficult to do so. And look at this. The Mutalist coming in, but Bomber's there and defends his command center.
Bomber knows what he's doing, but you're right. He's had no... Whoa, hold the phone. Wait. Run away. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, you be this aggressive as Bomber, you have no opportunity to go and clean up those Overlords. You're focusing all of your attention on that aggression. Zerglings run in. They may get the cancel. Yes, they do on a command center.
Good job there. Wow. All right, so let's take a look at where the game is at again. The Hive just now starting. Kind of a late Hive, but that's the way Scarlett likes to play. Yeah. In the meantime, oh my God, the Mutas, all the Marines out of position, and it looks like Scarlett gonna take down this 4th command center.
A free command center, fantastic pickup there. Cancels a lot of Bailings, has to get out of there as Bomber moves through the middle of the map. The aggression continues, poking up at the front here as well at the very north. Killing off a hatchery would be fantastic for him, but Scarlett preparing the defense.
Oh my God, this push so important for Bomber right now. He's still stuck on 3 bases. The Baneling's starting to connect. Can Scarlett break through her huge Mutalist clump coming in from the side? But those Marines are 3-3. She has to be careful.
Banelings roll in. Huge amounts of Banelings connections here, left, right, and center as the Mutalists continue to power back on here. Scarlett trying to connect with everything, and she does. Bomber on the retreat.
Scarlett pushing back Bomber so well. You know, she doesn't get that 5th base up, but it's okay because Bomber doesn't get his 4th up. Scarlett is continuing to macro. That Hive is about to finish, which means that she can get some other tech or even 3-3 started.
Exactly. If she can get 3-3 going, if she can bolster this army just a little bit more, whilst Bomber is still restricted on income. His income right now is not that fantastic in comparison to Scarlett's. All game long, Scarlett has denied these bases whilst Bomber's been aggressive. So Scarlett here has a great opportunity to continue on through this game and maybe even tie up the series.
And I gotta say one thing right now, Claire's. Scarlett is still sending queens out there, pushing that creep. This is a crucial reason why she is able to push Bomber back time and time again. And oh my God, Scarlett going after yet another command center. It looks like she's gonna get it, but in the meantime, Bomber going after Scarlett's 4th base.
These Baneling connections are gonna be so important here. Can Scarlett connect with a lot of this? There's a lot of Widow Mines. She has to be careful of that minefield as she brings just a few of the Banelings forward, knowing she can't commit with everything. That's a lot of Mutants helping with the back. What did you do the connection?
She's gotta be careful.
Connect with so much of
my
it.
God, Scarlett!
Boom!
Destroying everything. Bomber now in a lot of trouble. His production has fallen way off, but he has secured a 4th base as we see here. Now, can Scarlett get over there and punish it before he mines too many minerals and comes back?
20 Mutalists still active for Scarlett. She starts her 3-3. She starts her adrenal glands. All of these things to transition on to have a superior effective army, but they've got to be careful about those Widow Mines as well.
That's a scary point. That's somewhere she might just fly over at some point, and that can be a game changer. She loses this block of Mutas, and Bomber's in the lead suddenly.
Going for the drops here. Bomber knowing that he needs to continue the aggression so he can keep his 4th base stable back at home. He's trying to claim a 5th down to the south here, but this has been scouted out. The Mutalists are going to say, nah, not today.
And they do clean it up. These Mutas now, by the way, do have +2. Right now, we do have another attack coming up from Bomber, utilizing those mines he left over here with a few Marines, but doesn't look like it's going to do too much.
Scarlett doing very well, even adding on Carapace for these Mutalisks as well. Very good upgrade against those kinds of Marine numbers that we're seeing from Bomber. He's not really going to diversify his tech too much. He's stuck on this Widow Mine Marine style. And then once Scarlett gathers the momentum with all of these upgrades hitting, what does Bomber do to try and shut this down?
I don't think he does very much, Claire's, because she's about to become even on upgrades. She's about to have adrenal glands. Her Mutas are going to be 2-1. When you get a Mutas with 3 upgrades, they just start to kill kill everything again. So Scarlett is catching up in every way and pushing ahead in others.
Yeah, and then one of those aspects is the army supply. 117 army supply against 78 in favor of Scarlett. But Bomber finds an opportunity. Can he seize it? No, he can't. That's a lot of Mutalisks here doing a lot of damage. But the Widowmine connections are great for Bomber. Can he actually hold on? The Marines just die off. Scarlett doing so well.
In the meantime, the Zerglings hitting on this expansion forces a lift on the command center while the Overlord is dropping creep. That is going to way slow down the economy of Bomber once again, and Scarlett going across the map with her mutas.
This is one of the smallest armies. This is one of the smallest armies that Bomber has there, and those Widowmine connections were so important to keep that alive. Oh, but a lot of SCVs dying off. Scarlett finds him in the middle map, has to run away. That's a lot of Marines.
Yes, she has to be so careful with these mutas. She continues to make a lot of mutas. In fact, she's going up to about 40? What? 40 mutalisks?
Oh, jeez.
What is this, ZVP? I mean, she is making so many right now that it's going to be hard for Bomber to keep a command center, but he gets a couple more mine hits and things can turn around once again.
Yeah, certainly so. There needs to be more Zerglings, more Banelings out here to complement these Mutalisks as she moves on forwards once again to try and deny this base from going down. So important. Behind this, Bomber's taken a few other bases, but really, can he get those stabilized here whilst trying to pressure?
Well, if he keeps this pressure up, that might be enough to cover the bases long enough to stabilize and really get the minerals he needs to remax out. But Scarlett making a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes coming in once again, trying to clear out this Marine force.
And it goes down. Scarlett with the supply lead once again, but that's a lot of Marines. I think the Mutalisks can contend with those, though. The Marines need to move back into those Widowmines to try and get the connections.
And you know what? She's killed every medevac at this point. There are no medevacs left. But another big mine hit right there. Not as big as before, but she has cleared up this army, and it might be time for her to go across the map again and try to kill another command center.
She's very, very mineral starved right now. She needs to kind of get that income going as quickly as possible, because right now Bomber's income is better. And this engagement, once again, she can't waste too many of these Mutalisks. She has carapace for them, trying to get +2 carapace as well, but the Marines with 3-3 still very, very strong as they continue on. Good Baneling connections will push us back.
Oh, really well done, but you're exactly right, Claire. She's very low right now as far as her mineral count goes, which almost doesn't even make sense with 75 drones, but as she gets more Lings and Banes, she is pushing Bomber back once again. Oh, another mine hit on those mutas. She's got to be so careful, but now going after yet another command center.
Shutting down this base is so important. There were a lot of mules there. They end up having to be depleted, and now Scarlett pushing that away. This is really, really impressive play by her. She's going to get the command center. It goes down. Scarlett 173 supply against 94. Bomber's on the back foot.
Oh, more than the back foot. He's fallen on his ass at this point, Caleris.
No. Back. Okay, good.
Okay, there's Scarlett.
All right, well, we're going to get back into this in a second, as this game is pretty tense. I'm a little bit warm.
Oh my God. I'm glad that we have this breather, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, same. It's just been non-stop action for the past 20 minutes.
It's... Yes. Well...
All right, well, yeah. So we are just waiting now for our observer to get back in the game.
I hope you guys are enjoying this while we have this little 2-second break.
My heart's racing again.
Go tell everyone on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, etc. that they are missing what might actually be the best series of the tournament so far, which just is mind-boggling.
Absolute explosions. Let's get back into the game, guys. 3, 2, 1, let's go. As Scarlett here with that 80 supply lead. All she has to do is connect with these Widowmines and kill those off, and she does it just again and again and again.
Well, she's doing a great job of it. Up by 72 supply. This is the type of situation when you see creep spread like this, that many bases, this many units with that many upgrades. It feels like a win, but Bomber continues to macro like a beast, and these Widowmines are really going to make the difference. Let's see. Banelings going in. A nice Widowmine hit on the mutas, but is it actually going to be enough? The Banelings chasing back all of the Marines, and Bomber's supply has plummeted. Just 75 against 100 more from Scarlett.
So resilient, but in the end, Scarlett continues to break on through here. Army supplies 100 against 41, and Scarlett just doesn't relent with the aggression as well. Bomber, he's been the aggressive one for the entire series almost, but Scarlett decides, well, actually, this is my turn now, and she doesn't let up.
Scarlett, Bomber at this point is expanding like a Zerg. There's just command centers all over the place, trying to find places to mine minerals. But Scarlett never stops the Mutalisks production. She's back up to 43. She's lost a ton this game as well. She is just on top of this.
This army, this 43 Mutalisks. She has more Mutalisks than Bomber has Marines at this point.
Oh my God. GG!
Wow!
Scarlett ties it up and brings it to game number 5.
After game number 3, I was not expecting it of Scarlett here, but now, in this final match, can she move on to the round of 4, or will Bomber move on? This series is insane.
Guys, seriously, this series is insane. Game number 5 should be absolute madness. We actually have about 98,000 people live on the internet watching, so go out there, push your friends that haven't seen it before to watch this game number 5, because this might be what gets them hooked.
Get on Facebook, hashtag your WCSs, on Twitter, do whatever you need to do to tell people that right now, wow, look at that focus from her just there. She's one game away from advancing, but as is Bomber. Both of these players want this so much. It means it's of such importance here, not only to win that trophy in the round of 4 moving on into the final, but also the prestige, the money, the WCS points. So much on the line for both of these players.
This is a career-defining moment right now. Top 8, fantastic. Top 4, much more likely to be remembered, and you're just that one match. I was going to say simple, but it's not simple at all, but that one match from a finals in a WCS season finals, it's a fantastic place to be. This last game, Claris, is going to be on Aquilon Waste.
And it certainly has the potential to go along as well here. As Aquilon Wastes, you get those bases up and running, and you can defend them pretty well. But Bomber, once again, it's going to be crazy aggression in the mid game. And we just saw if Scarlett can weather the storm in the mid game, she can ride with the best of them.
I think you nailed it right there. Even though Bomber had insane production, a lot of Widow Mines that game, as long as she weathered it long enough on those 4 bases, she was able to come out on top. She's very good at actually engaging those Widow Mines when she has a reasonable amount of mutants. So, it's craziness.
An insane series so far, and one map is left to define it. I think right now we have Bomber in the game. I'm under the impression Scarlett and Sella just going over their thoughts a little bit here, going into this final map. Don't want to rush into it.
Well, what do you do now, right? Because Scarlett's been playing all macro games. She's doing the macro. And in fact, that game, let's not forget, Claris, a lot of drones were killed.
Oh, yeah.
In the early part with those 4 Hellions. Those 4 Hellions did so much damage, I was thinking to myself, oh, what a sad ending.
Aww.
You know, this is the type of situation where a player of Bomber's caliber and macro might be able to just rally through and kill you, but Scarlett fought back. So what do you do? Do you go for that macro game again? Because I tell you what, Aquilon, it's going to be very hard to stop Bomber from going up to 4 bases, which is what she did so magnificently on Whirlwind.
I think, again, it really played to Scarlett's strength, just being Whirlwind itself. Yeah. As we pointed out at the very beginning, Bomber loves that rally straight across the map, but it's harder on Whirlwind. It's always going to be harder on Whirlwind. Aquilon Wastes, a little bit of a smaller map here. This might also play to Bomber's strength in terms of just rallying straight for that aggression in the mid-game, and Scarlett has to find ways to overcome those hurdles.
Well, we'll see what she does. We'll see what Bomber does. Could be absolutely anything. I can't wait, Claris. I just want to jump into this game.
We got game 5. All right, guys. The final game of the night. Guaranteed.
That's right.
One player goes to the round of 4. You guys ready?
As he introduces, I want to hear a lot of noise, guys. This is it. Can Scarlett go to the Final 4, or will it be Bomber?
And he is going to be spawned down to the bottom right-hand corner. Our Red Terran representing StarTale and Korea. Give it up for Bomber. And up to the top left-hand corner, our Blue Zerg representing Acer and Canada. Give it up for Scarlett.
Well, I think we see who the fan favorite in this crowd at least is. Let's not forget, a lot of people love Bomber as well. Would be a great representative in that top 4 for StarTale in Korea.
Hello.
What is this?
Oh my god.
Well. Calaris.
Well.
I think that looks like a Reaper positioning for me.
It certainly does. It's a pretty good Reaper positioning, I gotta say.
So a proxy Reaper opening. Scarlett has been scouting, but did not scout there. That actually went there after the Overlord passed over it, so a very sneaky move-up timing from Bomber. This definitely could catch Scarlett off guard.
That being said, she did send a drone out very early to start scouting. So she's going to know, hey, there's a gas there. Where's your barracks?
You're very correct there, Claire's. Now, it's up to Scarlett. Does she try to focus on queen defense? Does she go for a quicker gas here and try to grab out, speed? It's kind of a hard... I feel like she's concentrating so hard on there. Does she realize what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what it's going to be from Scarlett, there's always going to be an aspect of drone micro involved pretty heavily here early on, because she can't possibly have any units out against a Reaper at this time.
Yeah, there's... This is actually a little bit scary right now. She needs the spawning pool to finish to even make the spores, so she only has the geysers to transform the drones to stop from losing them. So it looks like Bomber definitely should get at least a couple drone kills, maybe more.
Oh, Bomber, it's been spotted pretty quickly here, so she could pull a drone to try and nibble away at that, but unfortunately for her, the Reaper is now here, so that kind of contingency plan for her is diminishing. As she does start 6 Zerglings, she starts 2 Queens instantly as well. Very important to the Extractor.
Good micro so far, but Bomber as well, really getting as many shots as he possibly can, dodging the drones, not getting surrounded, all very important things here.
And this Reaper continues.
Looks like she'll probably... Almost gets that Reaper, not quite. And you know what? Scarlett already with a great hold. I can't believe that not even one drone has died yet.
I think it's something that Scarlett's gone up quite a lot of times. And there you go, the bunker goes down. That alleviates a lot of the pressure here from her.
And as that queen pops out, she's going to have a lot easier time pushing the Reapers back. But it's not over yet. Those Reapers can do a decent job against queens as well.
Yep, not too bad at all. So they're going to just keep microing back, healing up, coming back for more damage. They want to fight more and more. It's like Fight Club, but they never talk about it. As we have here, still the factory on the way back at home for Bomber. Trying to wall that off as the command center goes down as well. Is there any room for Scarlett to do anything aside from just macro?
You know what? Scarlett, sometimes you see a Zerg player try to counterattack, but he's keeping the Reapers in the front right now, so I don't think that that's a possibility at all. She's going to stay a little bit more defensive with it, focus on queen defense. We see 2 more on the way, and we don't see speed started yet. So, no, that's it, Claire. She's just going to have to sit back, try to macro up, and weather these Reapers.
Yeah, and she seems pretty content with that. Although, that being said, Bomber here adding on a 4th Reaper. This is more Reaper than production than I was expecting to see here. And this gives Bomber a very, very strong soft contain here on the map.
Yeah, he's going to keep the creep spread back, that's for sure. Maybe end up killing a queen. But, with 4 queens, speed on the way, some Zerglings out, it hasn't really done that much. And in fact, as far as the resources lost, there's literally been 75 resources lost total for Scarlett. So she's defended it very well. But don't forget, a lot of Zerglings being made. It's stifled her economy a bit.
The Reaper Conga line now jumps in to try and do some damage. But unfortunately for those guys, the Queen's too formidable right now. And we'll have to retreat out.
And looks like those Reapers going to run past these queens for now. And okay, finally some damage going down for Bomber. A couple of drones being killed.
Yep, 3 in total. Not too bad there for Bomber. A good pickup. But behind this, still down in terms of supply, as it's 32 workers to 27. Starport finishing up at a pretty speedy time here, though, as well for Bomber.
Well, what are we going to see here? We could see things such as Hellion drops. We could see Medivacs come help heal the Reapers. Wouldn't that be hilarious? It could even be a Banshee.
Dude, I want the Medivacs just to see it happen.
That would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
I haven't seen something like that in years.
Well, we have the Evolution Chambers finishing up, and Scarlett wants to push this away in the middle of the map, but I love the combination of Reapers and Hellions. I think it provides such great positioning on the map here for Bomber. Scarlett's not going to break out of that, despite having speed.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think Bomber has actually thought about it and said, you know what? Part of the reason why she's killing me is the creep spread, that's for sure. So he's focusing so much on keeping that back, which, by the way, it is the Banshee with Cloak.
Ooh. And this is something we have not seen all series long. So once again, Bomber showing that he has the versatility of a champion. He can mix it up even in the very last game after showing a lot of tricks previously.
And this is a build, how much does he actually practice this? Proxy 4 Reapers into some Hellions and then a Cloaked Banshee. This is it's different, and he's doing a great job with it. Look at that. The creep tumor is being absolutely decimated. Scarlett's having a hard time figuring out exactly what to do here.
I am loving this by Bomber right now in terms of holding that creep spread back. And on a map like Akelon Way, so important, as his third base is outside of a fortified area for the most part. So he has to prevent any kind of aggressive moves out from Scarlett earlier on.
Well, right now, he's doing that quite well. We do have those upgrades on the way, and the layer's about to finish, so that makes the Banshees a little bit less scary, but as of this moment, there's not a single Spore Crawler, and the layer is about to finish, so we can get some defense up in that regard, but it takes a moment to actually morph an Overseer, so we don't know how much damage this Banshee's really going to get done.
Yeah, could do something. It has been spotted, obviously, and there goes the cloak. So the Overseer has to start instantly here to try and deny this, as there is a Spore Crawler there. And this is the strength of the Queen Opener with 4 Queens. Eventually, once you have detection, you can deal with something like this, whereas you normally wouldn't have too much anti-air at this point.
Well, you know, she's not making any Overseers, but is getting some spores, so we'll push that back for now. And there you go. Actually, there is one Overseer. So, how many were actually killed? So far, Bomber's killed 8 drones.
And Bomber here just moving towards... It's funny because Bomber looks as if he's playing this game, similarly to how we saw...
Whoa! A big Zergling surround going down, and it looks like all of Bomber's little force gonna be killed.
All the Reapers and all the Hellions, they fell down, and now these 2 Banshees are going to be Bomber's assault. How well are they going to fare? They're nibbling away at this expansion, and that's not too bad. He's going to get the cancellation.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have to cancel that, and that's very nice. That's really stalling out the third base, whereas Bomber is already mining from his third. This, truth be told, is not going very well for Scarlett, but look at this, fighting back, trying to kill off some SCVs here.
Yeah, good move there. The Bio will clean it up, but Scarlett didn't cancel that expansion, so she loses the 300 minerals. That's important at this stage of the game. At these sub-100 supply marks, 300 minerals is a lot.
It certainly is, Clarice. I'm getting a little bit scared. We have a Mutalisk on the way. That's not normally how it is. It's normally like 10 Mutalisks on the way. So, Scarlett's economy has been completely stifled through this opening.
Yep.
And Bomber's has not. He's been so on top of containment with those Reapers, with those Hellions, that his third base has been up and mining for a long time, and his real macro will be starting soon. How does Scarlett stop that?
Yeah, that income for Bomber now looking absolutely furious in comparison to what we're seeing here from Scarlett. And that one muter, that one that came out early, he's gone. Sorry guys, he's gone.
Yeah, the early muta does not always get the Banshee. In this case, anyways. Now, Scarlett is starting to push her creep out. She is taking a third, and one thing we definitely can say, her upgrades are a bit better. She's going to have 2-2 when it's about 1-1 than 2-1 for Bomber. So a little bit of an advantage in that way, but I feel like Bomber's going to have so many units out. It's going to be hard, but at least she has Baneling speed.
And again, the rally positions here on this map, it's a smaller map. That rally that Bomber loves to do is going to hit harder than it ever did on Whirlwind. So can Scarlett continue to hold this back? Can she be defensive enough to save these bases? She needs to save this hatchery.
Yes.
She needs this 5th and 6th gas geyser as well as the minerals.
She cannot lose this hatchery, absolutely not. And lots of Marines and Links and Banes coming in, clearing out those Marines. Good job by Scarlett, keeping that base. Absolutely crucial moment right there.
And Bomber also going for another drop here. Well, dropping at the pseudo-third location, as it's not just there yet. Could even burrow one Widow Mine there to be really annoying.
Well, you know what? She's chasing down some of these medevacs as well. Very good job by Scarlett. She's got to kill every drop like this, but at the same time, Bomber knows where the mutas are and where the mutas aren't, and they aren't in the main.
They certainly are, and unfortunately here for Scarlett, she might take a little bit of damage, but those Zerglings came in at a good time. Widowmine's still there, connects with some of the Zerglings, but not too much.
Well, okay, that wasn't quite as effective as Bomber was looking for, but still a smart way to go about it. Not really killing that many drones yet still.
Yep, and drone counts right now, we're up to 64 against 69 Harvesters for Bomber. He has a fantastic economy behind this. 2,500 minerals at any given point.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So Bomber's economy is really getting scared. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a 4th pretty soon. In fact, the command center just got started, so he is pushing up towards that. Now, Scarlett needs to be super efficient with these armies that she has right now.
She showed in the past game that she can be, and now will she actually be able to break this? Because Bomber set himself up in a awesome position here on this high ground. So those Marines, I don't think she can really push this back just yet.
That's a very hard to break position. That's a position that you'd like to flank, but the shape of the map in the creep spread just doesn't allow something like that right now. So she is pushing forward. Some Widow Mines going off. Pretty effective, but some good Baneling hits as well.
Yeah, that's certainly true here. There's a lot of Marines still coming in, though. Oh, he has to be very, very careful. Oh, Scarlett has to be careful, I should say, as those Mutalisks do get pushed on back. Even the Scan as well. Oh, she's losing a lot of the Mutalisks. Bomber is making this work.
He certainly is pushing forward very quickly right now, producing those patented 15 Marines at a time, getting Drilling Claws, getting 3-2 upgrades. Scarlett, in the meantime, making a lot of Lings and Banes, but, you know, her upgrades are going to fall behind, and the macro of Bomber is off the charts. He's up by almost 25 supply.
Exactly. He's doubling Scarlett's army supply right now, up to 100 against the 50-some here of Scarlett. These Banelings need to get great connections. Will they be able to do it? Not many Widow Mines are burrowed, but she pulls on back. She doesn't want to take the engagement just yet.
She needs to get the perfect engagement here. 11 more Banelings on the way. Those are going to be crucial, but the Widow Mines are so many. How can she do the hits? Actually pulling a lot of Widow Mine hits over to the side. Pretty good engagement here, I'd have to say, for Scarlett. And the supplies, look at the supplies evening out.
What on earth? Scarlett somehow manages to push that back, but still, Bomber, 90 army supply against 53. Scarlett right now still on the back foot, trying to replenish what she can, trying to get as cost-effective Baneling connections as possible. She absolutely needs them. Not that many Widows. Zerglings, they come in for the surround. The Banelings connect as well. Wow.
Some good Baneling connections going down here, and Scarlett pushes Bomber back once again, but Bomber is relentless with his macro. More units are coming already.
Look at the supplies. Look at the 132 to 146. Scarlett, once again, is going to go back and try and defend and defend and defend, but Bomber's 3-3, his pursuit weapons is about to finish.
It's very scary. Ooh, Baneling's hitting the rocks there. A little bit of a misclick there by Scarlett. And an attack going into this base, going to pick off some of these Widow Mines. She has to keep this fourth alive. Losing that is game over.
Yeah, you're right. It needs to stay up. That one Baneling gets a good connection, but it doesn't kill anything off. He needs a second Baneling there to actually try and help that out. So does Scarlett right now, as those Banelings move on once again, killing off a lot of Marines.
Big Widow Mine hit there on those mutas. Are going to be a lot softer in this next battle, but forces Bomber to pick up kills the medevac full of Marines. Nice moves by Scarlett.
She's slowly evening up these army supplies. It's unfathomable how she's doing it here. But Bomber is not getting the engagements he wants. He's spreading, but Scarlett is somehow negating the spread.
You know, the problem is, though, I would say here, even though she's doing that, Claris, the fourth base is up for Bomber. He's dropping a lot of mules there. His income is insane. Some more mutas going down. Scarlett can't be losing mutas right now.
No, she can't. Great connections for Bomber there. As the Banelings move forwards, don't get too bad connections as well, but Scarlett dwindling in supply in comparison to Bomber. There's a lot of Marines left over. And all the Mutalisks go down. And GG!
And Bomber takes out Scarlett in an amazing series.
What a series we witnessed. Scarlett taking Bomber to the brink, but Bomber being the resilient aggressor that he always is, never stopping, never letting up with the aggression. As we have our round of 4 advancing.
We certainly do, Claris. An amazing, amazing series. Both players playing at the peak of their skill.
Yeah.
I'm so unbelievably impressed with that best of 5. That may have been the best of the weekend so far.
Oh yeah, I am so happy that I got to cast that, my friend.
Man, I don't know, watching it would be pretty sick as well.
That's true. Wow. All right, well, we now know Artosis, our round of 4. It's Bomber versus Tasia and First versus Jaedong. All of these players, all weekend long, have been playing at their very peak, as you rightly just said. And now, tomorrow, we get to witness the clash of these titans.
The most impossible to predict top 4. It's unfathomable how well these 4 players have played this weekend. Every game, every match, hard won. Everyone was pushed to their limits so far, and I think that's just going to continue forward.
I think even we were pushed to our limits, man. My heart is still racing.
I think the fans were pushed to their limits as well.
Yeah, this has been certainly a very, very good day of StarCraft, and it's only going to get better tomorrow. I can't imagine what we're going to see.
Oh no, it's almost too much for me to bear. It's been a fantastic day so far, though.
Yeah, it certainly has. And in just a little bit, guys, we shall hear from our winner, Bomber. But what's been your highlight today? Has this year been the highlight?
It might have to be. I was loving actually every series. I had a fantastic time in. I thought that Alive played some of the best TVP I've ever seen, and for first to stop him, it was fantastic. Nanoa fighting back against the strongest Jaedong I've ever seen in StarCraft 2. I had such a blast casting that. Of course, this last series, Tasia's unbelievable strength against Rain. Couldn't believe it. And here we had this going to Game 5 with the most amazing macro games that you could ever hope to see in TVZ. I don't even know, Calaris. I don't even have the whole day is my highlight.
Yeah, it's been good, man. Anyway, we can hear from the winner of that series, Startail Bomber, along with Chobra.
Thanks, guys. Here for the last interview of the day, and it's going to be Startail Bomber coming out from his booth after an incredible full best of 5. I can't believe it. I know everyone was holding their breath and pretty much all of those games in that last match, but let's see what he has to say after what must have been an exhausting full match. 자, 이번에 스칼렛 선수 상대로 5번 게임을 다 하셨어요. 기분이 어떠세요?
솔직히 1경기를 지고 나서 좀 힘들겠다 싶었는데 5경기까지 와서 이렇게 힘들게 이겨서 정말 기분 좋아요.
Bomber says, you know, after losing that first map, I thought it was going to be really tough, but I'm glad, even if it was a hard road to the full best of 5, that I could last it out and win this match to go into the semifinals. So give him another big round of applause. Startail Bomber going in to the round of 4 here at WCS Season 2 Finals. 자, 그러면 오늘 이제 스칼렛 선수 상대로 그 지뢰를 굉장히 잘 사용하셨어요. 근데 어떤 때는 이제 좀 운이 안 좋으시면 지뢰가 그냥 뭐 유닛 하나 정도만 잡고 그러고 끝났는데 그렇게 지뢰가 당연히 이제 잘 되면 기분이 좋으시겠지만 지뢰가 안 되고 그냥 빨리 죽어버리면 기분이 어떠세요?
솔직히 지뢰가 터지고 안 터지고는 저그가 컨트롤을 얼마나 잘하느냐에 따라 다른 것 같아서 그거는 운이 아닌 것 같아요.
그러면 그냥 놓고선 그다음에 그 저그 상대가 잘할 수 있나 없나 그냥 그런 테스트로 생각을 하시나요?
네, 뮤탈 컨트롤을 얼마나 잘하느냐가 가장 중요한 것 같아요.
Talking about Bomber's Widowmine play, and we saw some great Widowmines, but some a little bit lackluster, and Bomber says, it's not about luck when it comes to Widowmines against Zergs. It's a true test of whether the Zerg has good micro and good technique to battle against these Widowmines, and if you can battle out with Mutalisk, then you're going to be fine, but if not, the Terran's going to win out with those mines, and Bomber put Scarlett to a true test in that full best of 5. 자, 그러면 이제 방금 말씀하셨다시피 첫째 경기는 지셨는데 두 번째, 세 번째 연속으로 이기셨어요. 그때 네 번째 경기 때 혹시 조금 너무 마음이 앞서거나 그러셨었나요?
저 5경기 빌드가 상당히 자신 있었기 때문에 4경기 저도 상관없다는 마인드로 했어요.
그럼 5경기 그거는 이제 미리 그렇게 5경기까지 가면 그렇게 하겠다 그렇게 계획을 하셨던 거예요?
제가 이 빌드는 방송에서 처음 써보는 빌드인데 승률이 굉장히 좋은 빌드예요.
Wow, so I just asked Bomber, how did you feel after winning game 2 and 3? Were you maybe a bit too excited? And Bomber says, Game 5, that build I had never played on air before, but I have a really good win rate. So I was so confident in that build that even if I lost map 4, I knew I was going to win the match. Came into map 5, and as Artosis was talking about, does Bomber practice this build? Well, now we know. Brings out a win in that full best of 5. Give this guy another round of applause for such preparation in this matchup. Wow. To have that kind of confidence in your preparation. 자, 그럼 5세트 때 전진 사신으로 하셔가지고 그러면 그때 뭐 그만큼 자신 있으셨던 거예요? 이거는 내가 그냥 차근차근 연습했던 대로 하면 이건 내 매치다 그렇게 생각하셨나요?
이 빌드가 스칼렛 선수가 아마 가스 플레이를 잘 안 하기 때문에 무조건 통할 거라고 생각했어요.
And talking about that last build, Bomber says, you know, I think it's a great build against Scarlett. I knew she wouldn't be prepared for it, so I knew it could go through. And let's see what he has to say about going up against Tasia tomorrow in the semifinals. 그럼 내일 준결승전 태자 선수 상대로 하게 되셨는데 트트전이에요. 트트전 기록이 꽤 좋으신데 기분이 어떠세요?
제가 가장 하고 싶었던 게 태태전이었는데 하게 돼서 정말 기분이 좋고 영서 선수가 굉장히 잘하는 선수인데도 저랑 상대 전적이 군심에서는 5대0이기 때문에 저 무조건 이길 거라고 생각해요.
Bomber talking about Tasia. All I've wanted to do in this tournament is a TBT. And while Tasia's a good player, I have a 5-0 record against Tasia, so he doesn't stand a chance against me in Hard the Swarm. Let's give another big round of applause for Bomber from Startail, moving on as the last semifinalist here at WCS Season 2 Finals. And what a great day it's been. Paul, wrap it up for us.
Thank you very much. Fantastic day, yes indeed. Thanks, Showrun. Thanks, Bomber, for a fantastic best of 5. Also to Scarlett, commiserations in that game. Joined by Todd and Apollo. Just to wrap things up for the day. Firstly, Todd, what an amazing day. Can you even pick out one of the 8 games we saw?
You know, Taylor just asked this to Artosis, and I have to completely agree with Artosis. I enjoyed every single series. All of them have been fantastic. We had a lot of very close series. The only series that wasn't very close was Tasia versus Rain, but what a display of skill there. And all 4 of our semi-finalists here, they have the potential to win this tournament. We have 4 beasts in semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the bracket just to confirm the semi-final for tomorrow. Sean, again, you know, 8 games today have been fantastic. The semi-finals tomorrow proved to be absolutely amazing. First Jaedong and Tasia Bomber. It's an amazing lineup.
It's an amazing lineup. I really feel that Jaedong can go to the finals, so as much as I'd like to be excited for that game, I'm not, because I really feel he can. So I'm much more excited to see Tasia versus Bomber. Bomber is incredible in Terran versus Terran, but Tasia's been playing, I'd say, the best tournament he's ever played, so that matches up really, really well.
Yeah, and the story's really tomorrow, I mean, without giving too much away about tomorrow, but it's about the 2 guys really that haven't yet won, haven't quite got there. Jaedong, forever the runner-up, forever the bridesmaid. Can he go one more? Can Bomber claim a first title? But there's Tasia in there, the summer champion of last year, summer champion again this year, and first champion in the past as well. So it's a great mix.
It's one of this tournament in itself has been one of the highest skilled, most enjoyable tournaments I've been a part of and witnessed, and just sat in the crowd and watched games too. The player caliber is incredible, the production's been amazing, and the top 4 is nothing less than that.
All right, final predictions for tomorrow. Who are you going with?
I have to
It's going to be a Protoss.
I actually think Jaedong is the favorite over first, but first he's been playing very, very well. I think we're going to have Jaedong against the Terran in finals, and Jaedong is going to have a tough time. I'm curious to know what Apollo thinks. Will the Jaekong legacy continue?
Who are you going with?
Definitely Jaedong in the finals against Tasia. And I talked it over with a couple of the OGN guys, and I have to agree with what they say. I think Tasia's probably going to win this tournament.
All right, well, we'll find out tomorrow from 12 p.m. Central European Summer Time. 4 players are left after 16 started off the WCS Season 2 Finals. Tomorrow we have the 2 semi-finals and the grand final. The world champion for Season 2 will be crowned. Make sure you join us then. We'll see you tomorrow.